Over the next 6 days, me and my friend will be traveling down the central United States on a road trip, but, well, actually there is no twist. That's just what we're doing. As we travel from Wisconsin to Kentucky, we'll be answering the question, where in the United States is more exciting, the South or the Midwest? Put in another, entirely more brain-rot way, does the South vibe-mog the Midwest? So join us if you want to follow our interesting, low-stakes, and somewhat bizarre journey, see us develop answers to our question, and even if you just want a little bit of those good old road trip vibes.
Who made this road? Everything's broken in Indiana.
Hello?
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? Okay, so my idea is that right next to the apartment, I put my stuff in the car, then I take your key to go upstairs and lock the door, and then I come back down.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Are you in front now?
So just come... Yes, I'm right in front of the door.
The person driving the car and asking if he's in front right now is me, a connoisseur of American road trips, if you'll allow me to be so pretentious, who at different points in my growing up have lived in the suburbs of the East and West Coast, cities that looked like this and this. Now I go to university in Madison, Wisconsin, and this will be my first time traveling to many of the deep South states.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
The person I'm calling and who is actually behind the building right now is Arhan. He's a fitness-obsessed international student from Mumbai, India, where the cities look like this. This southern road trip experience is also new to him, and he's a little bit of a dilly-dallyer. You'll come to find out.
I should be good for at least a few hours in terms of not sleeping.
That's good.
I actually... right now, I fell asleep while I was thinking about packing.
Last night?
Yeah. But at least I took out the trash.
In today's episode, we're traveling through Illinois and Indiana down to Kentucky, where we'll spend the end of the day near Louisville.
So apparently Kentucky is in another time zone.
How different?
1 hour?
Okay, so nothing basically.
Yeah.
You're not maxing if the max only has one X in it.
Yes, that's so right, bro. Home of the big win. Third up is trap up here. Oh.
Late on.
Jesus, my soul. Just feel it away. Keep it close to the Lord. All to temptation. With a bed of gold. Gotta keep the devil way down in
Seriously, no maxing.
I wonder what that could do.
So the context for what you just heard is that we have a running joke based on the idea that truck drivers are more likely to be serial killers than other professions. I looked it up, it's not particularly accurate, but it is a running joke that we have. So Arhan is referring to the trucks around us when he's talking about serial killers.
So Arhan, is now a good time to mention we're actually driving to Minot, North Dakota. Here we are, nothing but the wide open road. I'm committing several crimes.
I was reading about some Victorian practice where, where the lowest form of accommodation was basically some sort of rope which you could bend over, like if you were drunk.
Oh yeah, hangover.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the origin, I don't think so, but...
I thought that was, I feel like I read somewhere else.
That's what the reel said, but I'm not sure if that was a myth or not. But like the hangover thing was actually a thing. So I think we should like rent a rope.
that was your takeaway from that, not like, man, these poor people and the terrible conditions they had to live in. The takeaway was, we should do that. That's base.
Yeah.
Are these guys deploying to Iran right now? What the hell?
You know that the Navy SEALs are actually surprisingly heavy. Like the soldiers, not SEALs. But there's some ideal hype. How are you not surprised?
God.
Like, wouldn't you expect them to be skinny or something?
No! Have you seen a Navy SEAL?
America.
So the context on this next clip is that we're in Beloit.
Feels bad being Beloit. Just cause.
Imagine being so close to Madison yet so far. All these people aren't tears about the fact that they aren't in Madison.
I'm sure.
We stopped at the Beloit Walmart to get supplies for the trip, mostly food in the form of granola bars and drinks in the form of Gatorade Zero. Most of this stuff we wound up actually not eating, but you can never be too prepared. For most of the stops, I'll be showing the pictures we took when we were at the stop, but unfortunately for you guys, this one we didn't actually take that many pictures because we were very distracted having a loud political discussion in the Walmart, as you do. So you're just going to have to deal with the Beloit water tower.
Time for cookie number 1. Oh, it's 160 calories of cookie. How glorious.
As in, like, that's lower than you thought, or more than you thought?
More.
You'll never guess how far away Kentucky is.
396 miles is insane.
Go chasing waterfalls, listen to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. I know you're gonna have it your way and nothing at all. There's a heart on that water tower.
I see. Hoover Dam. Close enough.
Not the Hoover Dam, no. We're like on the other side of the entire country, like the entire continent, quite frankly.
I think that Hoover is the most glorious FBI head.
I'm pretty sure the Hoover Dam's there after President Hoover.
I refuse to believe that. Would you volunteer for MK Ultra today?
What kind of question is that? No! I'm asking nicely, give me what I want. Alright, so far I've seen a Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois license plates. We're gonna keep track of how many license plates we see. You down?
How many license plates?
Like for different states.
Do you mean like I'll try to keep track sort of, but I probably won't remember.
Well, just tell me if you see a license plate that's from a different state.
Wait, so far Illinois and what else?
Illinois, Minnesota, and Wisconsin.
Okay.
Which is reasonable for where we are in the country. Baby, do you know
I can barely see anything on the plate from here.
That's Illinois.
Where does it say it? Like,
it says it on there, but it's mostly because that design is an Illinois license plate design.
is G for British brand?
I would not be caught dead in a British car. So let's take a look at what this license plate is over here. Can you read it? Minnesota.
Yes, I can see from that. It was so small though, like it has to be right next to you.
Yeah. If you have good eyesight, it's chilling.
Yeah.
I'll be going home alone tonight. This was my most listened to song last year. I listened to it 74 times since the big 2-5. Swear it.
75. That's not so bad.
No, it's not. I like the song, so. Giving up, you wanna break my heart. stone. You sure are good looking, but I'll be going home alone tonight. You know, I was looking on Google Maps to just get a sense of what the highway was going to be like when we get to the south. And the Google Street View was from August, and where I dropped, immediately there's like just fields of cotton on the side of the road. It's like, damn, bro, they still be growing that. All these decades.
Somebody needs to fix them, and it will be me.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can do that. Yeah. What you thinking about?
I was thinking about nothing actually.
I just don't really know how. There was like a solid 2-minute period, at least. No way there was no thoughts passing through your head the entire time.
Let me think. We last 10 seconds I had a thought. I was thinking about how we went to Booyah yesterday, and that was that.
And that was that as well, huh?
Indeed.
I know.
Longest I've zoned out for was 40 minutes or so.
No thoughts for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Or are you an NPC? The longest I've probably done it is, 20 seconds?
Those 40 minutes were great. I wish I could have that again. It was the last sports day, I think, at my school. And there's this place on the grass, and it looked comfortable, didn't have any mud or whatever. So I figured that I could just lie there. And with my backpack as the pillow, and then I was just zoning out for 40 minutes.
I mean, relaxing stuff. Usually I like to have thoughts when I relax though, but all the power to you. Bless your heart. Get you them. Ooh, the sweet tea I'm gonna have on this trip.
What was the original ETA? It already looks like you saved some.
Original ETA was 6:10, so we saved 4 minutes. We're definitely gonna be able to save 15. If we keep it up, we might be able to save, gosh, maybe 25 minutes.
So make sure to keep track of this upcoming subplot.
Sam says he'll be back in Madison today and he asked for games at 6.
I'm tired.
Should I confirm?
We're right by our apartment.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I guess we can join Sam afterwards. Oh, the wheels on the right one are odd.
So goofy. Bro, you got what SUV is that? You put monster truck wheels on it?
GMC Yukon.
Come on, my guy. You're not that cool. Illinois. What am I seeing over here? This is just a tailgate test, and that guy has a broken bumper and hazard lights on.
What are hazard lights?
You see how both of the blinkers are flashing?
Yeah, I see that.
That's hazard lights. It tells you that something's wrong with your car, like to other people around you.
What's wrong with his car? What do you think?
Maybe it's the bumper. Going south up here, that means we're probably close to being in Indiana, if not already in Indiana. Oh, it's another Illinois one. That's a Blackhawks logo. That's an Ontario license plate, like it's in Canada.
They look Canadian.
Are they white?
Yeah, but all white.
That's fair.
I proceeded to take a wrong turn trying to get into Indiana.
Why is our ETA back to 6:10?
Because of the wrong turn.
Because what?
Because of the wrong turn. I did a wrong turn. This is the rinkiest road of all time.
For some reason, we've entered Indiana going south, going north. Alright, we're finally on Indiana South, going south. Nope, no we're not. That's another. Who made this road? Who made this road? See, the travel vlog should include that line. Who made this road? You know, like in the opening sequence.
Yeah.
So, right? So it could be like, whoa, who made this road, bro? You know, like.
And then exaggerated, like moving around it.
have us footage of us crashing later or something.
Yeah.
And then we don't crash.
Do you think truck drivers have to have superior skills to normal ones, but just similar?
Jesus Christ, what is this car doing? This is the most stressful highway I've ever driven on. Jesus. Okay. You think truck drivers have to have more skills than we said?
Yeah.
I think so. I imagine driving such a big vehicle is
Skills to kill.
taking a bridge just to get over a giant truck park. Hell yeah, America.
I'm born of these Illinois license plates.
I know, right? Even though low-key it's one of the more interesting ones in the country.
Is it?
I mean, you've seen the Wisconsin license plate, bro. It's just white on, like, red text on white. So at least it's designed. Wait, we're only 27 miles from Indianapolis. Oh no, we're 25 miles from heading south to Indianapolis. Never mind.
Participate in the Indianapolis 500 within 10 years.
And you think it's a reasonable time estimate?
I didn't say anything about winning. Do we also do that?
No, we'd also do that. Crazy America pill take coming up next, by the way. You know, when you drive on the freeway for this long, it really sets in how crazy advanced we are. Like, ancient Rome has nothing on this. Think about how many miles and miles and miles of concrete we have there. You know? When we're all gone, this will still be here. You go dig down a layer, it'll be like, imagine in the future, you know, humanity's been wiped out or something, and another intelligent species comes, digs down, sees what we did. They've got to think so highly. I mean,
They wouldn't be as intelligent.
we're gonna brain-mog them.
Yes.
Past. Sure.
Brain maxing.
Sure. But imagine it's just like you discover all this, and then they had a hyper-advanced series of concrete pathways on which they're extraordinarily fast, also fuel-burning vehicles would blitz down at lightning speeds, you know? I don't know. If we discovered anything remotely similar to this in an ancient civilization, we'd be going nuts.
The internal combustion engine is so glorious. Electric will never be as cool.
I don't care. Watch your spend.
You don't even have electric, why are you so invested in it?
Because I want electric, because it's better for the environment.
I mean, that's fair, but I would use moral licensing, like to donate to something and then be like, so what now? I can.
I'm a believer that's not how that works. You can't just spend away your carbon.
Why not?
All these carbon sink technologies are low-key ass right now. And even then, if it's just generally other charity, it's not the same thing. You know, one
Some
wrong.
sort of environment-related charity.
Are we over a mine right now?
Oh, that
Whoa.
is unique.
Whoa, that's crazy. Wait, can you take a picture of that real quick? So Arhan didn't really get a picture, but here's an image of the mine. It's the Thornton, Illinois quarry, and it's not too far from the Welcome to Indiana sign. It's just a very interesting feature to have right by the side of the highway, and it was quite cool to see from the window. We're going over that famous pedestrian bridge.
New York truck.
And then I guess we'll just drive around Louisville for a second, maybe see if there's some good news. There's
And eat something yummy.
Yeah, there's ice cream at the end of the bridge. So Well, I'll tell you a second.
Now we will be in India now.
That's friggin'. Well, I guess I can't really celebrate too hard, but we're here. Woo! Oh, and immediately we're in traffic. So we're gonna walk across the bridge. We get ice cream in the Indiana side. So the Ohio River is between Louisville and Kentucky, and then Indiana on the other side. So we're gonna walk to the Indiana side, get the ice cream, which someone on Reddit said was a good ice cream place. And then we're gonna walk back across the bridge with the ice cream.
Thanks.
And then we're going to drive around for a little bit. And then after that in Louisville, we're gonna go hit the road, try and find a KFC in Kentucky.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we're gonna end the day in Nashville. So I guess it's probably worth going to whatever the street is in Nashville, the big one. I forget what it's called. I'm referring, of course, to the famous Honky Tonk Highway, which we'll learn more about later. Yeah. That's a crazy billboard right over there. They got everything on there. And a Cracker Barrel, too. Nothing a kilometer tall building yet?
It's late, but even as a child, the tallest building was the Burj Khalifa, and still the tallest.
Yeah.
And we need to build bigger pyramids.
When I'm in charge, and it's a when I'm in charge, I'm commissioning us to build the world's biggest pyramid and the world's tallest building. It's just happened. You know what I'm saying? It's just happening.
Yeah.
Surprise, rooted over socialized. For us, for what it's worth, too crazy, just might work. After this, Arhan just fell asleep, so I'm going to be skipping through time now, showing highway sights and if something big happens.
Someone wants to play board games with a call back
Hell, this is
around
real.
6 p.m. Arhan set up and sent a phone.
You mentioned the shale revolution a few times, which I think many people probably don't know what that is. Can you just give me the brief overview of U.S. energy production from 1990 to 2025? What happened?
The American gas station, an island of civilization and stability in a sea of concrete and upheaval. I also got some mid-snacks from the gas station shop.
No public agenda for AI. There's been no sense of how do we orient all this investment towards things we actually want as a society, as opposed to how to automate a call center. And both of those questions, like what are humans for, what is AI for?
Like who is asking those questions and who has power to answer them? Because they're so fundamental, but it assumes that there's a role from him. It wasn't just Musk, it was,
And crypto regulations.
Yeah, the two. I'm not a nationalist, but I refer to these tech oligarchs as traders because I think they're traders to creation. I think that there's something broken where they're not actually appreciating the beauty of this world. And that the reverence for the natural world and its vulnerability as a spiritual duty, whatever you believe is a spiritual duty, and it's a profound betrayal not to cherish the natural world.
The city we just drove by is Indianapolis, a solidly Midwestern city. We drove by it while you heard some snippets of the podcast episode I was listening to, Naomi Klein on Trumpism and our Age of Unlikely Bedfellows on the Ezra Klein podcast. It was a surprisingly great listen, and it really got me through that part of the trip, so I highly recommend it. It's about shifting political coalitions, branding, and, well, identity. On that note, as we move forward to finally approaching the actual South on our trip, I figured I should break down where we're coming from, on how many southern cities we visit are actually going to impress us quite a lot, and why that is. The weekend before this trip, a friend of mine visited from California and we went into Milwaukee, the largest and most important city in the state of Wisconsin. Do you notice anything in these pictures? I'm at the Milwaukee Riverwalk, right in the heart of downtown, by the Bronze Fonz himself, and there's no one around. This isn't a sleight of hand. Madison, by contrast, is an active, wonderful little city, but it isn't a grand city. You'll soon see for yourself how the cities we visit on this trip compare, but they're often more full of life and larger in scale than many of the big Midwest cities. Aside from Chicago, that is. Chicago rocks. But as you take in the new sights, remember this is what the Midwest feels like to us.
In the Gatorade Zero. At the gas station, I got a vitamin water zero, lemonade flavored. Low-key ass. So I'm not getting that again. He's not like on the side of the Democratic Party establishment. I'd say he's more on the side of like the Democratic Party staffers, about the age 20 to 40. That's his demographic. Democratic Party staffers, age 20 to 40. That's who I imagine listens to Ezra Klein on the daily. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm officially awake now.
Something's burning. They're making a bonfire. The Devil Went Down to Georgia is the most American story of all time. Because in most cultures, this would be a story about how you shouldn't make a deal with the devil because of your arrogance. It would be an anti-hubris story. If the Greeks told it, he would lose, he'd be trapped in hell and Hades, whatever. But in this one, the American Johnny is actually just better than the devil at playing the fiddle. So he just wins. He gets the shiny golden fiddle and then tells the devil to screw off. I think that's, yeah, exactly. That's based as hell. See, that's the car I'm talking about. The one in front of us now. Tunnel's pretty beat up.
Yeah. No hazard lights, though.
He has you see the rope holding his bumper on?
Yeah.
He's sawing into his car so he can hold the bumper on. Guess no point in driving with the hazards then, right? You're not fixing it. Yo, look at the sign over there. Something's wrong. And everything's broken in Indiana. If you go out in that weather, bro, you're actually dead. That's your last moment. I'm in the lane! Seymour, Jonesville. Why do I need to see more of it?
I didn't know that we were still in Chicago. Not Chicago, but...
I'm in my lane!
It really wants you to keep your hands on the wheel.
I have my hands on the wheel. I'm just not adjusting anything because the road's perfectly straight. Oh, I forgot something at home. We're gonna go back.
Yeah.
Seriously injured in a truck wreck? There's a sign that earlier advertised wrongful death. We can sue in the case of wrongful death. And I know that it's for the family that they're advertising to, but I find it funny to imagine they were advertising the people who died. It's I don't know if they can help.
Targeted advertising. They are advertising the place where you would have a crash.
Road work 2 miles. Only? Yeah, it's a bad one. There's no need for you to react, but it would have been nice. Yeah, boy. Rain's down in Africa. This guy's a little too white to be saying he's blessing the rains down in Africa. Yeah, they got a playland at the McDonald's in Scottsburg?
What's a playland?
I mean, it really it gets nicer and nicer the closer to out of Indiana we get. Look at this. It's a beautiful stroke.
And the McDonald's there.
Indeed. There we are. Louisville's a city, isn't it?
It is indeed. You know that KFC is actually owned by some company called Yum Brands, which owns some other fast food stuff.
So nice to know you all. Been on.
You know that Muhammad Ali was from Louisville? Muhammad Ali, the boxer.
Muhammad Ali is from Louisville?
Yeah,
What?
and he is known as the Louisville Lip actually, because of his
Oh.
personality and his taunts and whatnot.
I did not realize that.
And you sound familiar, that's why Google right now athletes in Louisville and
Goddamn. Okay, so we're now going into classic old Louisville. It's kind of crazy that the freeway just merges with the normal part of the city like that. A little crazy.
that playground looks cool.
You think they should add to the thing? Like more?
Yes.
Okay, that's
And they should make the metal slides like super sharp, but also fast to slide on.
okay,
Do you agree that if you were a kid, then you would gladly trade for the faster metal slide, which can like slice off some skin rather than the slow, boring slide?
I do both. That's why I love both.
Yeah.
This is a nice neighborhood. You see, because they have a LGBTQ flag. I was like, identify nice neighborhoods and stuff.
Look at what a nice single family zone place this is.
Like, yeah, you're right. Like, you say that in jest, but I feel like it's been a pleasant area. So that's the fountain we're going to take a look at.
St. James Court. I didn't know that we are still in Madison.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2 and 3 and 4 and so on eventually. Presumably I'll get around to editing them.